Show.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And Friday is our business day, so we cover a business dialogue.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this question, Cam, but have you ever had any desire to maybe have your own business?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but have you ever?
I mean, when I was younger, I don't know, like when I was really, not really young, but when I was in like middle school and high school, I thought about being like a stockbroker.
Really?
But that isn't my own business. But I think it would be cool to have like a really nice cafe.
Yeah.
Like with plants, like a jungle cafe. Like that would be something.
And do some baking.
I don't like to bake.
Oh, you don't? I'll go and help you.
You do the baking side.
I'll go there. Why don't we do a little English cafe?
Yeah. I'll do the coffee and the plants.
I know.
The interior.
That's
you
right.
could do like the
I could do the
furniture
sandwiches.
and the sandwiches.
Yeah, and the baking.
Something like that I think would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do like a more like I sell paper.
Right, like a real business. I'm the CEO.
I'm a business. Yeah, I don't think I could do something like that.
Right.
But something
in retail. Cafe. Yeah.
But not a restaurant.
No.
I don't think I could do it.
No. The restaurants.
Do you have any kind of business aspirations?
Well, I don't know. You know, sometimes I've thought about maybe having like a wellness website.
Like a blog or like
I don't know. I just thought like I'm so into that. And like maybe be, to sell like, really high quality vitamins and I mean, I think that would really be a lot of fun because I'm so interested in it. Yeah, I would curate.
Oh, I mean, you'd like carefully select. Kristen's choice. Yeah. Right. I think you could do it. I think you could.
I think so. Okay. All right. Selling the family business. That's what we're talking about this month. I was never going to convince them all. 자, 결코 그들 모두를 설득할 수는 없어요. Meaning the family.
Yes.
Okay, convince the family. Here are some expressions that we're going to cover. Put something up for sale.
So this means to make it available to be bought.
Okay. Build a consensus. consensus.
So this means you're talking to people and you're creating an agreement among everybody.
Okay. How about pros and cons?
These are the good things and the bad things.
Right.
The good points and the bad points.
All right. Very good. So these are the expressions for today. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
I heard you put the business up for sale. I guess the majority of family members agreed with you.
Sadly, the vote went along generational lines.
I know how badly you wanted to build a consensus among the whole family.
I was never going to convince them all.
Even after you explained all the pros and cons of selling versus keeping the company?
Yep. My uncles and aunts didn't want to hear anything negative I said about the business. They still think it's the greatest company in the world.
Okay, it's time to take a look at our power dialogue. We're on page 80 of our PE textbook. Sarah begins by saying, I heard you put the business up for sale. I guess the majority of family members agreed with you. So, to put something up for sale. So, can't we just say, oh, I heard you're selling the business. Could we?
You can say that. The meaning is slightly different.
Okay.
So I hear you're selling the business might mean you've already sold it. Like you're going through you're writing the contracts. You're already in you found a buyer and money is switching hands, so to say. However, when you say to put something up for sale, it means you're making it available. Business, you can't buy a business all the time.
No.
Only when the owner wants to sell, right?
Right.
So they may put out an advertisement or they may talk to certain people, lawyers, and say, hey, if anyone wants to buy.
Right.
So this is like putting an ad and saying, hey, you can buy this.
Right.
So you can put your house up for sale.
Right.
Right?
And I feel like they're kind of big ticket items. They're not like, oh, put your bag up for sale? I guess you could say that.
Yeah, you technically could. There are those apps now where you can sell secondhand items.
Right.
So you can put like your sofa up for sale.
Right.
You could put your socks up for sale. I do agree with you. The smaller something gets, the more strange this sounds.
Right.
So you can put your sofa up for sale.
Your TV up for sale.
Your TV up for sale. But your paperclip up for sale. Like if we're going to go extreme, it just sounds really weird.
Yeah. Like you could put your antique dishes up for sale.
Yes.
Like it's expensive
and
they're really old.
Maybe it's a price thing. Like you could put your diamond up for sale.
Yeah.
Diamonds are tiny.
Sure.
But they're expensive.
Right. I do think there is that feeling. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Grady says, sadly, the vote went along generational lines. Okay. Now, sadly is not so much about like, oh, I'm so sad. But what is this saying?
So the real meaning of this word is I am very sad, like you said, right?
Sadly.
But this word has lost a lot of its meaning. So if you look at our Korean translation in the book, it's 안타깝게도, which is the meaning of the word. But English speakers don't often use sadly as, it's not super strong, right? So that no one's crying about this. It's just kind of like, oh.
It's unfortunate.
Oh.
A little disappointing.
It's slightly disappointing is what they're saying with this word, sadly.
Right. So Grady says, the vote went along generational lines. What does this whole sentence mean? Generational lines is actually our power vocab.
Yes. So this line here is talking about the line you make in a division when you're separating things.
Right.
So a generational line is a generational separation. Okay. So we have the baby boomers, we have the Gen X, we have millennials, we have Gen Z. Those are the big four. Well, we have Gen Alpha now. They're very young generation. Those are generational lines.
Right.
So Grady is saying, so grandma and grandpa voted the same. Mom and dad voted the same. Brother and sister voted the same.
Yeah.
It was a clear division.
Okay.
And it was divided by the generation, by their ages.
That's right. 세대를 따라서 투표를 한 거예요.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So, Sarah says, I know how badly you wanted to build a consensus among the whole family. Now, there is division.
Yes.
Because of this situation in the family. And Grady wants to build a consensus. So what is a consensus?
So a consensus is an agreement on, they have the same opinion or they've come to the same conclusion. So if you're building a consensus, it means you have talked to people, you've explained, maybe you've made some deals so that everyone agrees with the steps that should be taken.
Okay, right. So basically, Grady wants the whole family to kind of agree on this plan.
Yeah. It's kind of like in government. Whenever one person talks to this congressman or this National Assembly member, and they talk to everybody until they can get enough people that agree to get the bill passed, right?
Right. Okay. So Grady wanted to do this, but then Grady says, I was never going to convince them all.
Yeah.
So Grady knew that he could not have everybody agree.
Yeah.
Right? And what does Sarah say?
Even after you explained all the pros and cons of selling versus keeping the company?
Yeah. So even though you told them the good points and the bad points, pros and cons. I think a lot of our listeners know what this means.
Yes. So pro, P-R-O, are the good things.
Yeah.
And then the cons, C-O-N-S, are the bad things.
Yeah. Make sure you put the S, pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
You can separate this and say, oh, this is a pro.
Pro.
Right? When you're saying one thing, that's good. Oh, this is a pro, this is a con. But when you put them together, you say the pros and the cons.
The pros and the cons. Okay. And Grady says, yep, my uncles and aunts didn't want to hear anything negative I said about the business. They still think it's the greatest company in the world. Yeah. It's hard. It's a family business. You want everybody to be in harmony with each other, but it's hard. Everybody has different opinions.
Everyone has different ideas about what they want to do in the future.
Yeah, it's so true. All right, let's go ahead and listen to the dialogue one more time.
I heard you put the business up for sale. I guess the majority of family members agreed with you.
Sadly, the vote went along generational lines.
I know how badly you wanted to build a consensus among the whole family.
I was never going to convince them all.
Even after you explained all the pros and cons of selling versus keeping the company?
Yep. My uncles and aunts didn't want to hear anything negative I said about the business. They still think it's the greatest company in the world.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 82 and 83. We're going to give you some more example sentences using the phrases that we just learned. If you put something up for sale, it means that you are selling that item. It's available for sale. And as we mentioned before, it's usually items that are kind of big or expensive. Okay. I put my car up for sale today.
I thought you loved that old thing.
Yeah, but it's time. Okay. I had to put my record collection up for sale in order to pay my hospital bills. Isn't it true? Sometimes, like maybe you need emergency money.
Yeah.
And you need to put up certain valuables up for sale.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta maybe sell your watch. Yeah.
Sell your watch, or, you know, there are, we would call them family heirlooms.
Heirlooms.
Heirloom, Heirloom, like the treasures that your family has that they pass along.
Right.
Jewelry, things like that.
To have something up for sale. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember the last time I put something up for sale. I think it wasn't valuable enough to sell it. Like, I didn't think anybody would buy it.
Right.
So I had to just kind of, you know, throw it away. Yeah.
The last thing I put up for sale, and this is small, so it feels a little awkward to use this phrase. I put a kettlebell up for sale.
A kettlebell. You mean a workout?
Yeah.
Yes.
During the pandemic, I bought one kettlebell. It was 12 kilograms. Thinking, I'll work out at home.
Sure.
With my kettlebell.
Right.
And then I never used it.
I know.
So I put it up on sale on that little app.
The little app.
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. And were you able to sell it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Did you get a reasonable price?
It was for 12,000 won.
Okay.
Money chanon.
Okay, very good. All right. Now, to build a consensus means to create agreement among a group. So there's a group and they all agree.
Yes.
Okay. Before you make any decision, you should talk to the employees.
I'm the boss. I don't need to build a consensus.
Oof. Wow.
It's true. Companies are not democracies.
That is true.
You know, if you're a democracy, it is very important to build a consensus, meaning get not everybody, but a lot of people to agree, right? Whatever your political views are, we're constantly trying to build a consensus. But if you're a company or you're like a monarchy, like you have a king or a queen, you don't need to build a consensus.
Now, but I do think that in the modern age, in the modern office, if you want things to work smoothly and have good relationships, building a consensus is a good thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you want to build relationships. Yeah. I don't know how many modern companies are that worried about it.
How about in the department? Would you say that in the department, to build a consensus in the department, a certain department, regarding a certain issue? I think you could.
I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't. If the boss says A, and the people underneath the boss say
That's
B.
True. Yeah.
You do what the boss says.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good point. It's hard to build a consensus when nobody can agree on the smallest things.
It's so true.
Yeah.
If everyone's like equal, and then everyone has a different idea about the small things, sometimes the big things are easy. We have that phrase, the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
Meaning it's easy to agree about big things.
Sure.
But the small things, and like a contract.
Right.
That's where it takes forever.
Okay. So, Cameron, Where do you feel like this expression is most used? Build a consensus. Like, when do you most often hear this expression?
You will most often use this in an official setting.
Yeah.
So business or government.
Right.
Those sort of situations. If you want to be funny, you can say like, we built a consensus about where to go for our family vacation.
Right.
You can use it in that way.
Sure.
But it is very official sounding language in a very casual situation.
Yes.
Said kind of as a joke.
Okay,
yeah.
Very good. All right, our last expression is pros and cons, which means that there are good things about something or bad things about something, okay? I don't know which college I should choose.
Well, why don't you weigh the pros and cons of each one?
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, and some expert said, okay, like if you have a hard time making a decision, get a piece of paper and put a line down the middle, and on the top, write pros, and then on the second column, write cons. No, it's not so easy to really sit down and write pros and cons. Yeah. But they say it's a good practice. Okay. There are both pros and cons to getting married and having children.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people get married. A lot of people have children. They're very happy. Those would be like the pros, you know.
Yeah.
Cons would be lack of sleep.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stress involved, but you know, there's a lot of value in that type of thing as well.
I think for every arrangement, there's always some sort of pros and cons, you know, to anything that you do. I mean, not anything, but a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Sadly is our power pattern today, which means, it's unfortunate.
A little unfortunate.
A little disappointing.
Or maybe even I'm a little sorry.
I'm a little sorry. Okay. Yeah. Sadly, I won't be able to go to your party.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad.
Sorry. I'm a little sad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, the concert is canceled.
Oh, that's disappointing.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Right. Sadly, this concert is canceled. Okay. Sadly, it didn't work out. Yeah. Our relationship, with that guy, my boyfriend, it didn't work out. We broke up.
Sadly, this episode of Power English is over.
Almost. Not quite. Okay. When talking, so our power vocab is generational lines.
Yes.
Right? Do check out the definition on page 84. And let's, what else do we have to do?
Please go to Audio Hakdang, and for a small monthly fee, you can listen to this show, all of our other shows, and some great EBS secret programs as well.
Oof. Now, sadly, the show is over.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can join us today on Evening Special at 6 p.m. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.